Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Jonathan Mansfield, and I am going to give a persuasive speech about SeaWorld. And I want to start by asking, how many people get claustrophobic? This is my audience, by the way. Oh, introduce my audience.
Yay, audience.
Uh, yes, claustrophobia, it's almost something that we wouldn't be able to handle if we were confined into a space for a long amount of time. It would inevitably drive us crazy, and by no fault of our own, we would probably become violent. So everyone close your eyes. I'm going to have everyone close their eyes and imagine. I want you to imagine yourself confined, closed into a tight space like solitary confinement. And imagine yourself closed in this space for several hours at a time, not being able to get out, not being able to move around very much. Now imagine you live in this space. This is your home. And not only that, but you'll live in this space for the rest of your life. This is how orca whales and killer whales feel on a daily basis at SeaWorld. There are quite a few disturbing facts about SeaWorld, and I have a couple visual aids here to show you. This is a killer whale being taken out of its natural habitat. He is being kidnapped, if you will, and to be prepared to be taken for our entertainment. They are also molested. They collect their sperm and use it for, it's a form of currency. It's very valuable, so they basically steal the whale's sperm manually. And another disturbing fact is the dorsal fin that collapsed. This is very unhealthy, and this is unheard of when they are out in their natural habitat. The dorsal fins collapse, and it decreases their lifespan. There is a lady who was quoted, her name is Ingrid Beiser, and she is the founder of the Orca Research Trust, and she says that the whales do not cope with being kept in these tanks. They survive to some degree, but they don't thrive to any degree. Now, what I've asked you to imagine is very disturbing. So I want to talk to you today about SeaWorld. I'm going to introduce and run you through some websites that you can be a part of, the Orca Project, and another website is called EcoWatch. These sites will show you how you can become a part and take part in trying to shut down SeaWorld. Now, there is a great need to expose the lie that lies within SeaWorld. Many minds have already been persuaded to avoid returning SeaWorld because they've attended SeaWorld and then they found out what really goes on there afterwards, so they don't want to come back. And anybody in their right mind would not support cruelty if they knew about it, or anybody in their right mind. Now, thanks to the documentary such as Blackfish, people on a mass level are able to avoid financially supporting this place. It's word of mouth. It's really about self-educating ourselves and telling others so that no more financial support is geared towards SeaWorld. It is important that each and every person in this room be made aware of the truth. And one fact is that the orca whales swim upwards to 100 miles a day in their natural habitat. When they're taken out of their natural habitat and they're isolated, they only swim about 20 miles a day, because a lot of times they're taken and they're put into a small room in like a holding cell until the show starts. So they only swim about 20 miles a day in this big circular pool, which also decreases their lifespan. Whales live up to be about 85 to 90 years in their natural habitat. In their captivity, they live 25 to 30 years. And SeaWorld will tell you that this is a normal amount of any whale, even the ones that live in the ocean, which is alive. Now, whales in SeaWorld are known to attack each other because of the invasion of private space, which does occur in the wild in the ocean, but very rarely, and when it does, it never occurs by the same whale twice, because they get the idea, they go their own separate ways, and they never see each other again. And here they're forced to constantly be around each other, so whales are getting hurt, and they attack each other. And it's just not natural. It's just not what God intended a whale to do. And there are those who support SeaWorld, though. There are those who say that the movie Blackfish was misleading. Barb Neffer, for example, from Examiner.com, is an Orlando park examiner. And she says that the movie was taken out of context. And she says that the whales actually like living in SeaWorld because they thrive on the audience's participation and the attention that they get from the audience, as if they were, human performer. No one wants to be forced out of their own homes. Supporters deny a fact, and the fact is that these whales are being deprived of their natural habitat, to flourish in their natural habitat. And supporters of it deny that. They'll say that it's just the same, and which without really backing it up with any facts, just because it's a business. But there is a solution. By simply avoiding SeaWorld and trying to persuade others not to support the financial gain of SeaWorld, by not buying a ticket, and by visiting websites that allow you to voice your opinion, such as the Orca Project and EcoWatch. You can go onto these websites and write letters expressing your anger and your concern to SeaWorld. And with enough of those, a difference can be made. Instead of us just sitting back and allowing this to happen, you can email SeaWorld and express your concern. You can do something. You can make your voice heard. You can visualize yourself making a difference, and after you do that, it'll be much easier to make that first step. There are many groups that you can join that pass out leaflets informing others about the cruelty of SeaWorld, the monstrous humane prison that is known as SeaWorld. Some of these groups include the Animal Welfare Institute, the Animal League Defense, Non-Human Rights Project, Humane Society International, and etc. And there's others. Just by simply getting the message out to those who don't know will make a difference in persuading people not to purchase a ticket for SeaWorld. Another important thing to do is to self-educate yourself, because the more you know, you've seen the commercials. Well, the more you know, the more you can educate others. Now, I want to close by just saying that there are things that you can do, as I've said before. And although it may seem that it's and these are small things, self-educating and convincing friends around you will make a huge difference, because you can voice your opinion by logging into these websites. You can hand out leaflets. And so I urge you to go out and watch the documentary Blackfish, because it's a great documentary. It'll change your opinion. And if you've ever been to SeaWorld, I doubt that you'll go again if you see this movie. And so just take a few minutes out of your time and visit these websites, and again, voice your opinion. And once you learn about the cruelty that occurs within the walls of SeaWorld, you'll want to tell a friend, and then they'll do the same thing, and it'll be a cycle. And that's how a difference gets made. My name is Jonathan Mansfield, and that is my persuasive speech on SeaWorld!